This is Dr. Bev Knox, and you are listening to my Psychology Tutorials. Learn psychology while you sleep. People often think of childhood as a carefree and happy time, yet it can also be frightening and upsetting. In fact, children of all cultures typically have at least some emotional and behavioral problems as they encounter new people and new situations. Now let us move on to oppositional defiant disorder and conduct disorder. Most children break rules or misbehave on occasion. If they consistently display extreme hostility and defiance, however, they may qualify for a diagnosis of oppositional defiant disorder or conduct disorder. Those with oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD, are argumentative and defiant, angry and irritable, and in some cases vindictive. They may argue repeatedly with adults, ignore adults' rules and requests, deliberately annoy other people, and feel much anger and resentment. As many as 10% of children qualify for a diagnosis of oppositional defiant disorder. The disorder is more common in boys than in girls before puberty, but equal in both genders after puberty. Children with conduct disorder, a more severe problem, repeatedly violate the basic rights of others. They are often aggressive and may physically be cruel to people or animals, deliberately destroy other people's property, steal, or lie. They may also skip school or run away from home. Many threaten to harm their victims, committing such crimes as fire setting, shoplifting, forgery, breaking into buildings or cars, mugging, and armed robbery. As they get older, their acts of physical violence may include rape or, in rare cases, homicide. Conduct disorder usually begins between 7 and 15 years of age. Between 5 and 10% of children, 3/4 of them are boys, qualifying for this diagnosis. Children with a relatively mild conduct disorder often improve over time, but a severe case may continue into adulthood and develop into antisocial personality disorder, another psychological problem, and or a criminal lifestyle. Usually, the earlier the onset of the conduct disorder, the poorer the eventual outcome. Research indicates that more than 80% of those who develop this disorder first display a pattern of oppositional defiant disorder. More than 1/3 of children with conduct disorder also display attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. Some clinical theorists believe that there are actually several kinds of conduct disorder, including 1. The overt destructive pattern, in which individuals display openly aggressive and confrontational behaviors. 2. The overt non-destructive pattern, dominated by openly offensive and non-confrontational behaviors, such as lying. 3. The covert destructive pattern, characterized by secretive destructive behaviors, such as violating other people's property, breaking and entering, and fire setting. 4. The covert non-destructive pattern, in which individuals secretly commit non-aggressive behaviors, such as being truant from school. It may be that the different patterns have different causes. The DSM-5 instructs clinicians to distinguish those individuals whose conduct disorder is marked by particularly callous and unemotional behaviors. A number of researchers distinguish yet another pattern of aggression found in certain cases of conduct disorder: relational aggression, in which the individual is socially isolated and primarily performs social misdeeds such as slandering others, spreading rumors, and manipulating friendships. Relational aggression is more common among girls than boys. Many children with conduct disorder are suspended from school, placed in foster homes, or incarcerated. When children between the ages of 8 and 18 break the law, the legal system often labels them juvenile delinquents. More than half of the juveniles who are arrested each year have a history of being arrested. Boys are much more involved in juvenile crime than girls, although the gap between them is narrowing. Girls are most likely to be arrested for drug use, sexual offenses, and running away. Boys are most likely to be arrested for drug use and crimes against property. Although any number is too high, it is encouraging that the number of arrests of teenagers for serious crimes have fallen by 1/3 since the turn of the century. What are the causes of conduct disorder? Many cases of conduct disorder, particularly those marked by destructive behaviors, have been linked to genetic and biological factors. A number of cases, however, have also been tied to drug abuse, poverty, traumatic events, and exposure to violent peers or community violence. In addition, conduct disorder is often related to troubled parent-child relationships, inadequate parenting style, family conflict, marital conflict, and family hostility. Children whose parents reject, leave, coerce, or abuse them, or fail to provide appropriate and consistent supervision are apparently more likely to develop conduct problems. Children often seem more prone to this disorder when their parents themselves are antisocial, display excessive anger, or have a substance use, mood, or schizophrenic disorders. As they do with regard to other psychological disorders, developmental psychopathologists explain conduct disorder by pointing to interactions between these various factors. Research shows, for example, that some, not all, children who are maltreated go on to develop conduct disorder. Why only some? According to several influential studies, maltreated individuals are especially likely to develop conduct problems if they were also born with a particular variation of a gene, MAO-A gene, nicknamed the human warrior gene. How do clinicians treat conduct disorder? Because aggressive behaviors become more locked in with age, treatments for conduct disorder is generally most effective with children younger than age 13. A number of interventions, from sociocultural to child-focused, have been developed to treat children with this disorder. Some individuals with this disorder have been institutionalized in juvenile training centers. A number of prevention programs have also been developed.